On the show today, Algeria scraps customs duties and VAT on pharmaceutical products. United Nations appeals for funds to boost COVID-19 logistics support. And South Africa seeks $5 billion from multilateral lenders to fight COVID-19. Thank you for joining us and welcome to Business Incorporated. I'm Chimeze Obi-Iwabu. Let's tee off with the intraday numbers here on the African continent. Markets look set to start the week on a bearish note. At intraday, both the markets were here in Nigeria and South Africa were in the red zone, down 0.02% and 0.15% each. In Egypt, the market was also in the red, 0.37%, while Kenya closed last week negative. In the Middle East, markets were mixed. Saudi Arabian stocks retreated after oil prices fell. At intraday, the Saudi index fell 0.16%, with oil giant Saudi Aramco losing 0.7%. The Qatari index was up 0.21%. In the UAE, Dubai's main share index was up 1.50%, while Abu Dhabi index added 0.28%, helped by a 0.6% rise in the country's largest lender, First Abu Dhabi Bank, ahead of its board meeting to approve first quarter financials. And in Europe, markets opened higher in the morning as investors around the world await central bank meetings this week that could decide further stimulus measures to reboot economies deeply damaged by the coronavirus pandemic. Let's bring in Chelsea Dulani now for more from the European space. Hello, Chelsea. Good afternoon. While European stocks bounced back this morning as economies worldwide take steps to reopen, do investors in Frankfurt think the volatility of the past several weeks is behind now?
Investors really aren't ready to say that the volatility is behind us, but it's certainly a stronger start to the week. The DAX here in Frankfurt is up about 3% right now, and there is certainly a lot of optimism swirling because of these reports of an increasing number of countries taking steps to normalize the economy. So here in Germany, we had businesses starting to open up last week. In Italy, they've laid out their plan to get industry and construction restarting in the weeks ahead. So some of the hardest hit areas are starting to sort of ease some of these lockdown measures. That should help support business, but there's still a lot of uncertainties surrounding the economic outlook here. A lot of economists and political leaders say it's going to take really months for us to truly see how deep of a recession the Eurozone is facing. And of course, after several weeks of unexpected and really unprecedented things like the oil falling into negative territory last week, I think investors are certainly bracing for more volatility ahead.
Interestingly, embattled German lender Deutsche Bank says its first quarter financial results came in above expectations, even as the impact of coronavirus roiled the global economy. What's behind the better performance?
Surprise. Deutsche Bank has been, for the past several months, embarking on this big turnaround strategy because it's really underperformed its peers for the last several years. It's been having a really tough time financially, and so it is kind of surprising to see them really blowing it out of the gate, blowing it out of the water with these results. But we don't have the full details yet. They're going to release the breakdown in a few days. But what a lot of analysts think is that, like other banks right now, Deutsche Bank is also benefiting from a big increase in trading revenues this quarter. So as markets are really volatile, that means banks and their clients are being able to trade a lot more. So they're probably benefiting from that. A lot of banks are also seeing a big increase in deposits. So a lot of people, now that they're worried about the global economy, are parking cash into their accounts. So they also may be benefiting from that. But they also had some red flags that they raised in this report too. They say they're setting aside about 500 million euros in case some of their loans start to go bad. So money they've lent to businesses and consumers, if they start to default on their loans, they've set aside this pot of 500 million euros so that they can cover that. So not all positive news in this report.
And governments in Europe are moving ahead with bailout packages for the airline industry as travel shutdowns bring travel to a near standstill, which the airlines are benefiting.
There are several across Europe that have either secured packages from their governments or are negotiating them right now. So one of the first that we saw last week was Air France KLM. They have gotten a 10 billion euro package from France and the Netherlands, and that's a really strong support package. They, like all airlines, are really struggling with the travel shutdowns that have brought European and global airline traffic basically to a standstill. But we're also seeing Lufthansa here in Germany. They're also negotiating for a package about the same size, about 10 billion euros. This would come from Germany and other countries here in Europe, so Switzerland, Austria as well. But we don't have the final details on that yet and how it would really be structured. We did see other airlines, Condor here in Germany, Norwegian Air, EasyJet are also all negotiating for packages right now, and this is really important just because they are all sort of running out of money and bondholders don't really want to give them any more, so they really are completely reliant on the governments right now.
All right, Chelsea, thank you. It's a brand new week, so let's continue to monitor those developments.